So today we're going to speak a bit about what is the point in changing places, changing your environment, and understanding what that does for you. So as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different environment to those who usually watch my content. So I'm just going to be testing out a few different sets of lighting. I might test out other different spots in the apartment, but right then and there we are on one of the top floors in the building I'm at. Managed to get the penthouse top floor, and so what I'd say is, well, not too bad. It's pretty good. So we're not really here to talk about me though. We're here to talk about stuff that can help you become more productive, more efficient, and better in your own life. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, very simply, I would like to take into account that I've moved places, and I would like to talk to you about moving places as well. Now, I'm not forcing you to do anything, all right? But I am recommending you that you take some time to change up your environment or change some things, because once you do that, you will see that there are a lot of things that are going to change, not only in your mind, but also in your day-to-day. So for example, I decided to change environments completely and utterly. So I got myself a new apartment, I got myself a bunch of stuff, and I moved places because I needed to change the environment, because it had been a year since I was in the other place. And so basically what ended up happening was it didn't really fit the vibe anymore as to where I wanted to be. It felt a bit stale is what I meant. And so the fact that it was a bit stale made me a bit less productive at home. And now that I have a different environment, it just creates a big, massive click. And it allows me to just like change my ways about how I go about my own apartment, my own life. It puts a dent in the comfort zone. And it's like, okay, we've got a bunch of new stuff to figure out. We need to learn how to do this. We need to learn how to use this. We need to take care of this. We need to look into how to take care of this place much better. We need to look at where we can record these videos and similar things. So, as you might have seen last night, very late, I posted a video like super late, like in the dark, in this exact location. And it was honestly a pretty good spot. Not too bad. I'm just a bit curious about like maybe the wind or the noise, the background or whatever. And so you guys can let me know in the comments if it's shit or if it's good. I'll make some adjustments. I'll make sure. I was thinking maybe I could also maybe buy a microphone, like I was maybe thinking buying like a wireless Rode microphone for like $100-200 or whatever, and because that way I'd have like the small muffler on top of it, and I wouldn't have all the noise and all that shit. Because I know I'm in the center of the city, so there might be a little bit of noise. It's okay though. So regardless, here to talk about today about being in a relationship, being in a being in a different environment. And so what I wanted to focus on, the fuck is this, bro? Fuck off. What I wanted to focus on is to tell you what is the importance, what does it do, what is the point in changing environments, right? Because like we can't always all afford to change environments on a day-to-day basis, right? Like some of us can't just move houses every 3 months. Like some of us can't do all that shit. So moving houses is good. It does help. But it's not the only thing. Another thing you can do is something I've been doing it for quite a bit now, which is going to different coffee shop spots and just like having a different environment when you're working on your laptop. So like let's say instead of working from home in the dark or all by yourself, like isolated, you just go to a public place and like let's say like you can always go to the park. If it's not raining, you can go outside. If it's sunny, you can go on the beach. You can go to a lot of different places that are actually pretty fucking sick. And when you actually think about it, you can either do that, or you can go to a coffee shop. Like what I do personally, I go to a coffee shop down there in the city, and I work on my laptop, and I always go there most of the time. It's like, you might be able to find me if you live in Auckland. Like, if you do, like, come say hi, happy to have a chat, like, whatever, you know. I'm just an honest guy, just trying his best. So, creating a different environment for yourself is going to help your brain adapt to that new environment, and it is going to, like, basically completely shatter your comfort zone, and you're going to have to make your brain adapt to the new environment. So like, for instance, for me, I just mentioned that in the previous place I had a difficult time focusing at home on working on work mode. And so what I used to do is I just used to go outside as much as possible with my laptop. Since I work on my laptop, I go outside and I work outside as much as possible, as much as I can throughout the day in a public place. So that way I know that I'm going to be more productive, because it changes the environment, it changes the air, it changes everything around me. So that way I don't have anything to remember. Like at home, I might be like, oh, I need to do the dishes, I need to check the fridge, I need to do the laundry, I need to clean the floor, I need to vacuum, I need to whatever. And I have all of these things that are taking up a lot of bandwidth in my head. And so what I end up doing is I end up taking some time instead to go outside. Even though it might take a couple of minutes extra to walk there, I think it's worth the cost. And it might, even if you want to buy like a coffee or tea, whatever you want to buy, you can always spend the money on that. I think money is meant to be spent, so I personally just use it all the time. Whenever I have a family dinner, if I have the money, I want to pay for that, all that kind of stuff. So regardless, if you can change your environment, you'll have a much better time in terms of family things, in terms of productive things, in terms of work mode, in terms of everything. If you can change your environment, you will be able to do a lot of things more efficiently, you might unlock some new ideas as well. It's also very good for creativity when you actually think about it, because like I look at everything and then I'm just like, oh, I can do it this way, I noticed it this way, I like how the stuff is aligned, like how the apartment's set up, how I have access to this small balcony, how whatever. And then I could just come up with ways that allow me to like become more proficient, more immersed in the environment, if that makes any sense. And so what would be fucking awesome is if I could have like a dedicated spot, you know, to record these videos. But I'd say here should do for now. Should be alright. We'll see if the quality of the audio and the video is all good on the back end. But regardless, we are changing things. We are updating things. We are always adapting and changing in an ever-changing society. So if you're not changing, you're dying, like literally. I think everybody should embrace change to a small degree in their life, because change is inevitable. You can always think about the past, but you could never go back there. So like, for instance, for me, it's like I scroll back up in my liked videos playlist, and all the way back like 4, 5, 6 years ago, I could see the first videos I started liking, and I'm like, wow, like what the fuck, like that's so funny, like seeing like who I was before, and everything that I've changed since then has been like such a drastic difference in who I am today. And so that came from changing my environment again and again and again. Like, for instance, I used to be in France before I came here to New Zealand, and I spent most of my life there, gonna be perfectly honest, and didn't really do much. Started figuring some things out over there, and then when I got to New Zealand, I decided, before I got there, I decided, you know what, plane ticket, let's fucking go. And then the environment completely changed, right? Like, it's like, okay, never have I ever taken a flight by myself before. So first time for that, even though I had taken flights before, it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to figure everything out by myself. I'm gonna have to pay attention. I'm gonna have to open my eyes, open my ears, stay alert, you know what I mean? And so I needed to take care of everything in order to change that environment because I wasn't in my comfort zone. I was going out of it. And so every single time that you are going outside of your comfort zone, you need to tell yourself, you need to know that you are growing as a person. This is an opportunity to grow. If you're outside of your comfort zone, it's an opportunity to grow, not only in the environment, but also in the experiences. Like, for instance, if you're very bad at dating, if you've never dated before, you need to go out there and get rejected a bunch of times so that you can build confidence and tolerance to getting rejected and being like, okay, it's fine, who cares? Like, who cares? Instead of just like being like super stressful and not knowing what to say and slurring your words and whatever the fuck. You need to be able to go through that multiple times in a row so that you're like ready for like the worst outcome possible, basically. And even though you might hope for the best, you always need to be ready for the worst. And so keeping all of these environments like in check and like moving from time to time, just like refreshing yourself, basically refreshing your environment, is going to keep you on your toes a bit more, which personally for me is very important because I believe that everybody should be as competent as they can. That includes myself. So like if I'm doing something by mistake, or if I'm doing something shit, or if I'm doing something I know I should be doing better, then in that case I'll challenge myself to do that. Like, for instance, I'll put myself in a room of people that make more money than I do, people that are smarter than I am, and I'll listen to them and I'll get their advice and I'll say, hey, I noticed I was doing this and I didn't really make it work. What do you think I could have done differently? And then he said like, oh, he asked me a bunch of questions, and then we go over it together, and then we find some interesting points. He tells me like, oh, have you tried doing this, da da da, and then I challenge myself to do that, because even if I haven't done it before, I'll do it. Like, for instance, one time, I really fucking hate cold calling, but one time one of my friends said, hey, you need to cold call this weekend. If you don't do that, I'm gonna beat you up or whatever. I'm gonna see you as a lesser person. I'm gonna lose respect for you. I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that, but I don't want to lose respect either. And so I cold called 2 businesses, got rejected, and I was like, you know what, this is shit, I'm fucking bad, but I learned a good lesson, because I remember this was the first day I started cold calling, and I was like, da 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 da, and it was like, oh, this is so shit, fucking boom, hang up. And I was like, you know what, I'm bad, and I have a skill issue at this thing, at cold calling on the phone. It's like, hello, da da da. And obviously, this is something that has exposed one of my weaknesses, so I need to get better at it, right? Like, I don't necessarily want to be a lifetime cold caller, but being good at cold calling has its perks in today's society. With phones, computers, whatever, I'd rather see a person, to be perfectly honest, so that way I can know like if they're comfortable, uncomfortable, or whatnot, or else you only have the tone of the voice to take on account for. But regardless, we do our best. And so the whole point is to change your environment from time to time. Like, if you really can't move apartments or houses or whatever, what you can do is you can rearrange the furniture in your room as well. I noticed I've done that multiple times throughout my life, and it has worked pretty well. Basically, what you do is you just rearrange everything, and it makes it feel like you have a completely different place. You have a completely different place at home, and so basically, your brain makes the connection. It's like, new place, need to adapt, and so it kind of deletes the old thought patterns that you had before. Like I mentioned, thinking about vacuuming, dishes, fridge, laundry, whatever. You might not actually think about that because you've got something new that's top of mind. And so what's going to happen is your brain is going to be like, we need to focus on this because this is new. We need to adapt. We need to focus on this so that we can survive better. Like that's how your frontal cortex works. And so basically, you can make use of this in a very easy way. You can look at everything like, I can look at inside my room, all of my stuff. I can look at outside what's out on the balcony. I can look at everything in the apartment. I can look at everything in my closet. I can reorganize things. I can look at the furniture, how it's displaced. Like, the first thing I did when coming to this apartment was rearrange the furniture in a way that is fine, like is super easy, like is super more online with me in my stuff. So like for instance, we had way too much furniture in the living room. So what we did is I took care of everything in the living room. I moved everything around. I moved the couch. I moved the sofa. I moved the fucking things. I moved the table, moved the coffee table, moved the TV, moved the fucking whatever. And so basically, I created myself this environment that I had never seen before. So that way, it forces my brain to adapt in a certain way that is different to what it used to do. So that way I'm not really stuck in my old habits anymore, and I'm more focused on creating new ones. So that way I can do the same thing and I can connect that with my work. And when I connect it with my work, I'm able to get a lot more done in terms of productivity. So if you're looking to become more productive, I heavily recommend either changing houses, rearranging your furniture in your room, or even if it's if you work on your computer a lot, just changing your background desktop or reorganizing your files on your desktop is like something I would recommend if you do use that a lot. Same thing with your phone. Change your phone background, change your wallpaper, you can do a lot of things. You can add stuff, you can reduce stuff, you can remove things, you can add like paintings, you can add posters, you can do a lot of things to your environment that are going to help you become more productive, because it's going to shape the environment as you see fit. So that way you can shake up the box, basically. Like, shaking up the box is one of the most important things that you need to learn moving forward. Like, so that way you know exactly like what the fuck's happening, and you can switch yourself on and start attacking something new with like utmost energy and focus. Like, focus is probably the best word in this video topic, for instance, that you need to focus on. Funnily enough. So yeah. And with that said, we're nearing the end of the video. So yeah, new location, small video, 20 minutes as per usual. I'm gonna keep it at 20 minutes roughly. If you guys want me to do anything differently, we'll see. I recently asked for some feedback on my content and on my YouTube channel here, and I got some people that were saying like it kind of looks like AI generated content. Like, there's an Instagram link in the bio, so it feels like you're kind of just like leading people from YouTube to Instagram. So I'm not really sure if that's really a thing. Like, it's my personal Instagram. Like, I don't really use it that much, but if you want to keep up with what I do day to day and see some stuff behind the scenes and see what I actually feel and look like on a more personal level, feel free to hit me up on there and follow me or whatever. I don't really care if you don't or you do. If you do, I appreciate it. If you don't, that's completely fine. It's completely up to you. So yeah, I might make a new poll to ask for you guys' feedback on the channel, so that I can get some things that I can take action on. See if you guys like the thumbnail, see if you guys like the titles, see if anything makes sense, or should I focus more on a different type of content, or should I do more reaction type content. I know within the next couple weeks I'm gonna be buying a new computer, so with that new computer I should be able to edit more heavily. It will be a more higher performance computer, because the computer I currently have is not very high output. So like, it takes me a lot of time to do things. So like, I've capped out what I do in like per day, maybe for YouTube, for like an hour or 2 hours max. So what I'm gonna do is, with that time, with the new computer, and I do heavily like encourage you guys to upgrade your gear and your equipment whenever you're working. If you're working from home, very important. And so The fact that I'm going to do that is going to allow me to do more edits, more reactions, more stuff. So I might be able to create some new different types of content moving forward. So just let me know what you guys think, what you guys want to see, and I'm happy to do stuff on that, or for like moving forward. If you have any different topics that you would like me to talk about, feel free to recommend them in the comments. If you have anything that you want me to do specifically, same thing. If you have any questions, advice, or want some feedback on something, feel free to ask me. I'm happy to have a conversation in the comments. And with that said, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you have a great day. It's a beautiful day. Time to go to work. Time to get back to work. And I will see you in the next one. See ya.